Welcome into the latest edition of our Cubs REKAP Podcast, a presentation of our REKAP YouTube channel and available audio only everywhere you get your favorite podcast. With my guy in his BC hat. He couldn't get into BC, but his daughter could. I'm David Kaplan. That's Gordon Whitmire, and it's all brought to you by our great partners at the Illinois Tollway and their If Only campaign. The Illinois Tollway would like to remind you, please slow down. We've all said it before. If only I had slowed down. The Illinois Tollway's new campaign is called If Only, and it's a powerful reminder that speeding doesn't just put you at risk, it affects everyone on the road. Every crash leaves someone wishing they'd done things differently. So take the extra time, slow down, save lives. Lives, including yours, depend on it. Gordon?
Yes,
I was not upset with Craig Counsell on Wednesday night for pulling Cade Horton after 5 innings of no-hit, no-run baseball. I was not thrilled that he went to Ben Brown in the 6th, but he was able to navigate that inning and keep the no-hitter alive. I was absolutely furious with him that he brought him out for the 7th, and then a base hit, a walk, all right, get out. And now he has Pomeranz having to come in a dirty inning, and the next thing you know, Ha-Seong Kim hits one way deep in the left field bleachers, and the way that offense is playing, ball game over. Your thoughts?
I don't have any problem with any of it right now, Cap, and I get what you're saying, but this isn't football. Every game doesn't matter. They won the series already. What this is about right now with, 20 games, 22 games left, whatever it is, to the rest of the season, this is all about the playoffs. They got a massive lead on anybody who's not in the playoff field. It's a foregone conclusion. Obviously, they're in. They're probably in as a home field advantage in the wild card round. Sure, maybe they can catch the Brewers. Probably not. This isn't about catching the Brewers anymore. You're not going to waste all your bullets to try to do that. You're going to get in with home field in the wild card and try to win that short series and then go from there. That means that all these things that you've done, whether it's picking up Santana or these little moves, in the case of Cade Horton, 1,000% right. There's no issue there. You're preserving him for the postseason. He's one of your better pitchers. You can't be spending him down the stretch where you don't have to. Same way with you got to know what all these guys can do. Everything right now is about, okay, here's a challenging spot. Let's put this guy in there. Let's stretch this guy. Let's push this guy. Let's see what we got. Because right now we got a crappy bench and the pitching isn't real deep. Let's see what these guys can do down the stretch so we know what we got in the postseason. That's what really the rest of this is about. And it's the same reason why you had guys getting extra days of rest here. It worked for Kyle Tucker ahead of that road trip that he did really well on. PCA got some rest recently. If this stuff, if they stub their toe a few times trying some of this stuff, but it pays off because they know more about this team in October, then that's what it's about. That's the payoff.
Yeah, I look at Craig Counsell's lineup construction in these getaway days or these series finales, and they drive me insane. I'm like, Craig, we got 20 games left. Let's go.
This is especially this deep in the season with so many games under their belts and so many guys playing with stuff, just chronic nagging crap that a baseball season does to a baseball player who puts in a lot of innings pitched or who plays every day. These matter. These breaks matter, especially down a stretch.
So do the wins, Gordon. So do the wins.
No, they don't matter as much, Cap, because you banked enough that you're there. The wins don't matter like they did even 3 weeks ago because you've got your time is on your side. The amount of games off the schedule are all on your side. This is about October. You'd have to lose about 80% of your games the rest of the way for this not to be about October. So with a team that's probably not the favorite going into the playoffs, you need to know everything you can about this team because you do have flaws on this team. You have flaws that could be fatal in the wrong series against the wrong matchup. So I don't have a problem with it, Cap. I think this is the right way to approach it.
Right now, it's close, but today the Cubs would have home field advantage in the wild card round against the San Diego Padres.
And really, the Mets are only a game off of them. It
Correct.
could be either one. Which would you rather see, Kap, as the Cubs fan on this podcast?
I'd rather play San Diego.
How come?
I question some of their starting pitching. I do.
Yeah, but you don't question the Mets pitching as much?
I do too. It's just something about San Diego. I watch a lot of their games. Dylan Cease has not looked like the guy that everybody thought, boy, would I like to get Dylan Cease. For some reason, it's just the stuff doesn't look sharp. I don't know what the reason is. And now they just lost Xander Bogaerts to an injury he's done for the year. So they've got some serious issues going on. I think they had a reliever get hurt. Now they do have Suarez and Mason Miller, obviously two elite guys at the back of the pen. Yeah. But for some reason, it's the San Diego Padres for me. But, you play whoever you get.
The Padres bullpen scares me more than the Mets. I could see it really either way. The Mets have played well lately, although they've looked really shaky for a long stretch prior to that. Hitting at City Field, that might be I might like that a little more. Yeah.
But the Cubs will be the home team.
Oh, yeah, right. The reason I said that, because this was on my mind. I was going to bring this up because we're talking about, the playoffs and whether they lose a few extra games along the way. But here's something to think about. So, and I want to put this one to you. So this offense was so dynamic in the first half of the season, basically. And they've shown glimpses since, but have struggled more lately. One thing we know is that Wrigley Field is the third toughest ballpark to hit in over the last 3 years, I think, something like that. And this year it's maybe not been as bad as last year, but it's still a tough place to hit, especially to hit home runs. Given the fact that the Cubs would potentially have the better lineup going against the first round opponent, would you rather hit on the road? Like if you could be
I'd still rather have the home crowd juice, all of it in Chicago.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, you're probably right, but there's just this one element to it that at least shouldn't scare you if you're the Cubs, if you had to play that wild card series on the road, just because it might be a better environment for hitting, and given your lineup, that could be an advantage. It's just a thought I had as I was playing out these matchup scenarios.
So give me your thoughts on Kyle Tucker. He's out right now. He might be back on Friday, but they still haven't said. What do you think the Cubs will be all in to sign him the way he's played?
So we weren't so sure they were going to be all in to sign him anyway, because his price looked like it was going to be so damn high. From his standpoint, I think you got to go into that open market and just leverage the hell out of it and see what you get, assuming that you finish healthy and have a sort of a finishing kick to your season and maybe a good postseason. Leverage that. I think that I suspect that the Cubs are going to look at this, and if his price indeed it gets big, like we thought it was going to be, that they're more likely to be out on him, just given kind of their experience with him so far. Now, I guess we give him a little bit of a pass on that lengthy slump because
with the broken hand,
because we say he was hurt all that time. But I mean, that whole scenario was weird, and he had a great month the first month he was playing with it. So I don't know where the truth lies in all that we weren't told in all that period of time. But no, with depending on what you think of Owen Casey, and you obviously think he's ready for the big leagues. You debuted him this year. He might be up again before the end of the year if they have a need for a week or so. So I don't think that it's as hot. Like early on, I thought they need to get this done. If you're going to trade for this guy and you're going to give up that first round draft pick to get him and a high prospect, then you got to turn around and extend him, especially if you're the Cubs. I'm not so sure that they look at it like I'm not sure they looked at it that way in the first place as strongly as I did. I think that maybe not even as strongly as that at this point. What do you think?
I would like to see him out there. I do not want to see a team of, Owen Casey and Wright, unproven, Kevin Alcantara out there somewhere. You got to understand you're going to have Suzuki up after next year, Ian Happ up after next year, Nico Horner up after next year. Matt Shaw's still, while he's had a very good second half since the All-Star break, still a bit unproven going into next year. So I would re-sign Kyle Tucker. Would I go to $500 million? I would not.
He is probably the best fit among the big hitters who figure to be on the market, right? I mean, Alonso will probably be out there, but he's first baseman. He's nothing more than that. You're not getting Kyle Schwarber probably under any circumstances. I don't know that
think he's going to stay in Philadelphia. I would think.
Right, and if he became a free agent, I don't think he resigns with the Cubs. And then he's a DH anyway. So Tucker's definitely the positional best fit out there for any of the big hitters that are going to be out there. But the price, I don't have faith. I just don't have faith in the Cubs that get aggressive enough on that, unless his price comes way down, which it might. But how badly do you want, like if his price comes down because this latest small injury impacts him, or he doesn't finish strong for whatever reason, or he has a crappy playoffs, how much are you going to want him back? I mean, to pay much of any big price for him.
Yeah, he's still a hell of a baseball player.
He is. And I don't anticipate any of that given his track record and all his postseason experience.
Okay, here's my next question for you. Do you believe that Craig Counsell is an elite manager in baseball?
Oh, didn't we just have this discussion last week?
We did. I wanted you to take the week to chew on it. Like, he's fine. He's a solid baseball guy.
This is
the best
one
manager in the game.
Huh? This is one we agree on. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a good baseball guy. He's obviously got tons of playing experience. He knows the game inside and out. I think he does a lot of things that are, he plays the percentages. He knows kind of the rule of thumb, the right thing to do. But I don't see one particular element to his managing that sets him apart from just being a good manager. In all these years that he's done it, I don't think have added a lot. I mean, they've added experience. Some of this stuff is secondhand to him now, but second nature to him. But I just don't see. We talked about this last week, and I still feel the same way. We've got Joe Madden had this knack with young players and a personality that could bring a lot out of guys before they were necessarily ready.
Fair.
And La Russa had the game strategy like nobody else, and guys ran through a wall for Dusty. Bochy and Francona, who are managing right now, are certainly better than Counsell. They have a knack about him. I'm around Francona every day now. I see it. Players are drawn to him. He gets them to buy in. Everybody in there is looking at the game exactly the same way as Francona does. And they're not going to make the playoffs, but it's allowed them to get more out of what they have as a collective than they would have otherwise. I don't see the same quality. I don't see that one thing in Counsell that makes him great, that makes him elite, except his paycheck.
Yeah, his paycheck says he's the best. $8 million a year. Wow. All right, this Saturday the whole weekend actually, but this Saturday they will induct 2 new members into the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame. And that will be Derek Lee and Sammy Sosa. Give me your thoughts.
What a combination. I think it's amazing that, you know what, I tell you what, it's too bad for D. Lee. And I'm sure you and I both share a great deal of affection for D. Lee. What a classy guy. What a great hitter. What a great representative of the organization. All of it. But it's too bad for him, right? Sammy should have gone in. Whenever Sammy went in, it should have been on his own. It should have just been him. It should have been Sammy Sosa Day, because all the baggage, all the water under the bridge, whatever cliche you want to attach to it, this guy was so big for this franchise in so many ways, good, bad, or indifferent, polarizing, everything else. It's going to be all Sammy all day anyway. And poor D. Lee winds up in the shadows. D. Lee should have been next year, or with a different co-Hall of Famer going in with him than this one. So, I mean, he's deserving. Without a doubt, he's deserving and should be in there. But poor D. Lee, he's got to go in with Sammy, and when Sammy probably should have just had his own day on this.
Yeah, I worked with both guys. I started doing the pre and the post in '95 as Sammy was getting ready to take off like a rocket ship. And I was there till 2019. So I had all of D. Lee. And I'll still remember, I'll never forget my phone ringing at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, who's calling me? Oh, Jim Hendry. Uh-oh, what does he want? What's up, Jimmy? He said, I just traded Hee-Sop Choi. I'm like, you did what? He said, I just traded Hee-Sop Choi, and I wanted you to know, because he and I had argued about Hee-Sop Choi. I'm like, what'd you get for him? He said, Derek Lee. I'm like, there's no way you got Derek Lee for him. Yes, I did. And D. Lee became just an iconic Cubs player. Class man, big power. And when he broke his wrist, he got hit at first. He broke his wrist, I think, in the 06 season over. That's how important D. Lee was.
He was, second in the MVP race that year? Second or third?
I think he might have been.
Yeah.
My trusty researcher here is going to check out.
See where he finished. For that. But I mean, he was tremendous. Hey, by the way,
he was third.
Third, yeah.
Who was first and second?
So Jim Hendry, did anybody make as long a list of
Albert Pujols won it, Andrew Jones second, D. Lee third.
Yeah, right. Who's made, collectively speaking, if we put their whole track record together, I'm talking trades now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's better in the last 40 years for the Cubs than Jim Hendry?
As in terms of trades?
Yeah, I mean, Theo made some good ones. But I mean, think of the Ramirez trade, the Hee-Sop Choi trade.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good at what one of the Cubs executives who'd known him for years said he could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Who, Hendry?
Yeah.
I love Jim Hendry. He's the best. But Theo did trade for Jake Arrieta,
the Arrieta trade was inspired, no doubt, but the D. Lee trade, the Ramirez trade in particular.
The Aroldis Chapman trade was a great one.
The Aroldis Chapman trade. The Aroldis Chapman trade was the right one. I'm not sure that's a great. I mean,
how about Anthony Rizzo for Andrew Kashner?
Right, and some of these, like in a case like that, you intimately knew the player. It was an easier trade to make. So the Jake Arrieta one is the one that really stands out at the top of that
Addison
list.
Russell for Samardzija and Jason Hamill.
Yeah, but in retrospect,
winning a World Series.
In retrospect, Addison Russell did a few things well, but I'm not sure he was. I mean, at the end of the day, you might have won without him, and he didn't give you any kind of longevity. So, that was an okay trade. That was a good trade. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hendry had the trade that you mentioned for D. Lee. He made that one. What were some other big ones? Ramos Ramirez.
The better one was the Ramirez trade.
Yep. That was a great one.
And that was 03.
That was 03. Crazy, man. That's a tough job. I remember Theo telling me, yeah, you love me now. You'll be booing me in 6 months. He said, because average GM, he said, should take us all. About if you can get 59% of your moves right, you'll be elite in the game.
I thought his calculation was even less than that. I thought it was more like 55, but yeah,
maybe it was 55. Yeah,
same point. Like I remember
you guys think this is so easy. I'll draft that guy, pick that guy. He said it ain't as easy as you think.
Well, I'll say this for about 5 years there on their drafts. You know, when you don't count the single-digit first-rounder hitters, college hitters.
Yeah, Schwarber, Happ, and Bryant.
Yeah, but you take the rest of their drafts where they produce nothing, especially pitching, and you and I could have done a better job with darts on the board.
Take that, Theo. He wouldn't like to hear that one.
I think he knows that's probably true, though.
Probably. Gordon, have a great rest of your day, man.
All right, you too, Cap.
Appreciate you. See you soon here in the studio.
Yes.
And I think the Cubs, the Reds are done in Chicago, but the Cubs go there.
4-game series later in the month. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably see a lot of B lineups there too.
Probably right.
On both sides.
Have a great day.
All right.
There he is, the great Gordon Wittenmeyer. That is the latest episode of our Cubs Recap Podcast, a presentation of our Recap YouTube channel, and available audio only everywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And it's brought to you by our great partners at the Illinois Tollway, who have this important message for you to all of our great fans. Welcome back to our Cubs Recap Podcast. I'm David Kaplan. It's a presentation of our Recap YouTube channel and our great partners at the Illinois Tollway and the If Only campaign. And today we're diving into an important issue that affects everyone on the road, speeding. We're all out on the highways, all trying to get where we have to get to. And the Illinois Tollway Authority has launched the If Only campaign, a powerful initiative to reduce speed and save lives. And joining me, Dr. Andrew Dennis, one of Chicago's top trauma surgeons at Cook County Health and medical director for the Illinois State Police. You have seen firsthand the impact of high-speed crashes. Thank you for taking time on such an important issue. How are you today?
You're welcome, David. Thank you for having me. I agree. This is a very important topic to talk about.
As you see this topic, and we were talking about your career, which is unbelievable, before we started taping our interview, talk to me about this If Only campaign and the impact that it can have if people will just slow down.
Well, the bottom line is that speed kills. We know that. This is not a new thing. You've probably heard it, amongst all the other sayings, click it or ticket and so on. But the bottom line here is that speed kills. And the associations between distraction and negligence go hand in hand with speed. Ultimately, these are all decisions. Negligence is speeding. Distracted driving is speeding. Drunk driving is speeding. Not pulling over for lights on the side of the road and hitting a trooper or an ambulance or a fire truck or a tow truck, that is negligence. And the thing is that negligence is preventable. And so the If Only campaign is about rethinking decisions, recognizing that it's these decisions that can impact not just you, but they can impact everybody else on the road.
Yeah, the message that we have been conveying to tens of thousands of baseball fans all summer long is don't be that person that says, if only I had slowed down. You don't want to look back and go, what was I thinking? Have you seen the impact of this messaging start to get through not only to kids, which the parents are trying to reinforce it, but to adults who sometimes get behind the wheel and I got to get to work. I got to get here. I got to get there.
So what I do, I'm a trauma surgeon at one of the busiest trauma centers in the country. County is not only the first trauma center in the nation, but it's one of the busiest. And trauma, we know, is a disease. But what's unique about trauma is that it is a preventable disease. So as physicians and as trauma surgeons, we treat it like a disease, but we also know, and we have to treat it like it's preventable, which is the reason I'm out here talking about it. Because again, these are decisions, and negligence is negligence, and negligence is a result of a poor decision. Every day that I work, I tell someone that their kid's dead, or their mom's dead, or their dad's dead. And if you're seeing me, you've had the worst day of your life. There's no other reason to see me or my colleagues.
In terms of what you would say to parents as their kids start to get driver's licenses and they start to, I know as a father of 4 boys, every time, especially when they were 16, 17, 18, oh, they're going out tonight. You guys don't want to just stay home and lay on the couch where I could see them, touch them, know that they're there. What would you say to parents, how you get this message across that it is cool to slow down, and if you don't want to be that person that if only I had done that differently?
So I have 2 kids, both are in college as well. I worry about them. And remember, I see the world through a very unusual set of lenses. And so I worry probably more than most dads do, because I see the world through the cops world, through what happens on the interstates. And I see the world as a trauma surgeon talking to families. And so the message that I tell my kids is that I'd rather you be late. I understand that I tell you to be early, but if it comes down to making a decision about how you're going to drive and getting there, I'd rather you be late. Speeding doesn't get you anything. It really gets you very little, even as far as time recovery, but it can cost you everything. And that's the message I tell my kids.
The other thing that I have learned through this reading, being a dad, as I said, of 4 boys, is not only, as you guys have said, speed kills, and you said that earlier, but also every mile an hour you go, it makes it longer to stop, correct?
Correct. Your response times go down, and the kinetic energy that's associated with the crash that ensues is higher, which challenges even the best of the current vehicle technology to defer that energy somewhere that it won't actually hurt you. But so the faster you go, the less your car can protect you.
As a father of 2, with the life experiences that you have, I've been working in sports my entire career. My boys have only known me as a sportscaster, a coach, an NBA scout. They haven't known me like your boys know you. So how did you handle the messaging to your 2 boys as they got their driver's license? Because as you said earlier, the things you've seen, I haven't.
So I have a boy and a girl. The boy, I will tell you, my messaging was probably even a little bit more strict and tighter, because we know that insurance rates for boys are high, and insurance rates for boys are higher because they drive faster and crash more frequently. So the message to either kid is still the same. They know me as the enforcer and the rescuer, and I don't, and as dad. And so I expect them, I expect them to know that my expectations of them are high. I have high expectations. I teach them, we talk about it. Slow down, move over if you see lights on the side of the road. I mean, every day we have Scots law violations and crashes. Every single day we have troopers hit across this country, across the state, and the country, actually. But we also have crashes every single day. I mean, the data is extraordinary. Crashes are up considerably, and they're up because people are making poor decisions. And if only they thought about those decisions before they acted.
Can you give me one story that sticks with you that might resonate with somebody who is watching our Cubs podcast and says, you know what, I just heard this incredible message from this police officer and trauma surgeon, and it sticking with me? Give me one.
You would think that would be an easy question to answer. Every single day I have a story, and the stories repeat themselves. It is, I was late. I drove past that school bus because I needed to get somewhere. I needed to be on time for my job or whatever. It doesn't matter. The story is the same every single time. I thought that extra couple miles an hour, that extra 50, and sometimes it's an extra 20 or 30 miles an hour was going to change my arrival time. And the bottom line is it actually doesn't. It only changes it by a minute tops. So I don't have a specific story that I can give you other than my world exists in people's worst nightmares. Tragedy is tragedy, and trauma is preventable, and it's due to negligence, and negligence is due to decisions.
That's probably the best line I've heard you say, other than if only, is trauma is preventable. It's a disease that we can actually prevent.
Yes. And yes, in every aspect of it.
Well, your final message, if you could deliver one message to every driver that's out on the tollway, what would you say to them?
I would say, well, I like the word if only, or the words if only, but I would say slow down. Nothing is worth the risk. And the risk is not only to you, but it's the risk to others, because there's intentional trauma and unintentional trauma. And the intentionality may not be there if you're speeding, at least identifiable. But if you hit somebody, you hurt yourself or you kill somebody, then that's a huge impact to not only you to live with it, but to society. So my message is good judgment comes from experience. There's a trauma surgery saying good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. The problem is you have to live through the bad judgment, or someone else has to live through it to recognize it. So if only slow down.
If only slow down. Dr. Dennis, thank you for your time and everything that you've given to our community, police work, and all you do for the tollway, and obviously as a trauma surgeon. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.